That's
So
rad.
I was like, sure, I'll try it, see how it looks.
Yeah. All right. We are live, ladies and gentlemen, with Max McManus of Jaywalkers Apparel. Um, First of all, I want to ask you, because this conversation is somewhat centered around Jaywalkers, what is Jaywalkers, and what do people need to know in the first 30 seconds of hearing Jaywalkers?
Um, well, I guess the cool part about Jaywalkers is we pretty much started from nothing, literally in my mom's basement. We're all self-funded. We didn't get a big loan or anything like that. And Jaywalkers, the name, we kind of wanted to create a some pants that are kind of like, jean or chino style, but that you could actually do functional things in. So jaywalking, you're not really supposed to jaywalk, but a lot of people jaywalk anyways. And so we kind of created a concept about like a rebellious concept about these pants that are doing what you can't normally do in like normal pants. So that's kind of the idea behind it. So we created a little main jean chino fabric that's just super versatile, good for active or just relaxing or going to a wedding, whatever it is, just very versatile.
Yeah, and so most notably in regards to anyone who's probably seeing this from me, there's been some bigger name BMX riders who've been riding in Jaywalkers. Most notably, I've seen BK from Scotty Kramer's YouTube channel. He's tagging Jaywalkers like every day he rides, just taking a picture of his pants. But I've seen Nick Bruce recently with them. Then there was Joe Battaglia. I there's been some big names who have been trying it out, so I've been kind of curious about it. And like, how long ago? Like, how long have you guys been doing this?
Yeah, so I guess we pretty much started in 2018. We weren't like fully selling, but we were just sampling out different fabrics from different manufacturers, trying to find the perfect fabric. And so yeah, it's been about like 3 years since we started and just expanded into different things other than the pants and stuff. But it's been really cool to work with the BMX guys. And like you said, Brooklyn, he's been with us since like the very beginning. Him, Rob Darden, and Ryan Nyquist were our original three BMX guys. So
Nice.
super, super thankful for those guys. They've been with us since the beginning. Ryan Nyquist, at one point, I know he had a some sort of contract, I believe, with Levi's during like Olympic type stuff. But as soon as that was over, he was like, "Yay, man! I need to get back on these jaywalkers." So, big fan of Ryan Nyquist. He's been helped us out a lot. Same with Brooklyn, Rob Darden, all those guys.
Nice. So, do you have any kind of connection to BMX prior to this?
No, so that's actually the interesting part. I've never really been a BMX guy, and I think it might have been Rob Darden that originally reached out to us or something, and wanted to try our pants. We sent them out and kind of went from there, and it just started going from tons of different BMX riders and stuff. But my myself and I also have a business partner, Justin. He wasn't able to make this, but he's a bodybuilder.
Mm,
We both have decent sized legs, and we originally kind of created these pants for people who have bigger legs but can't fit them. But it quickly grew fast into BMX because they can just throw them on over their pants with the pads on.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I mean, through the years, I've worn, I don't even know how many different kinds of pants, and I'm cheap when it comes to my pants. So like, I'll go to the whatever store, the this type of overstock surplus stores who get all the cheap stuff in that's like defective or whatever. I'll buy those for $20, and then I discovered the George brand at Walmart, and before the
Oh
yeah, but they were like $12. I'm like, whoa! But before the current model, the ones did not stretch at all. So like, they sucked to take off and put on. And like, I think anyone who rides and wears jeans, especially people who wear pads, can appreciate a good pair of pants. So it's cool that there's that overlap, even though you don't have any kind of connection to BMX. You made something that works well for it.
Hmm.
And part of that too is the stretchiness allows for them to not rip as easily because we crash, and and it it takes like a very specific thing to have a good pair of pants for BMX. As like funny as this conversation is to have, it's a real one because they're not, like, pants aren't cheap. They're really not.
Oh.
So to have something that's going to last and work well is good, and that's kind of why I wanted to have the conversation with you. Is like it seems like there's more and more people jumping on and supporting you guys and wearing your stuff. So I wanted to get some more insight, kind of into why they're good.
Um, so I guess the feedback that I've gotten from most of our BMX guys is, I mean, the main thing that I usually hear is obviously like the stretchiness. So one,
Mm-hmm.
it makes it easier for them to put on over their pads, but two, it makes it so it doesn't restrict their movement at all when they're doing any tricks and stuff. Because I mean, if
Right.
you put on something that's stretchy, but it's still a little bit tight once you put it over the pads, it's going to be hard to move still. So ours, we maximize the concept of like stretch pants to the point where like you put them on over pads and there's still room to move, even though they look tight, they don't feel tight.
Right.
um, and then two, also they're very breathable is what a lot of BMX guys like. Especially I know Brooklyn, he always tells me he sweats a lot when he rides, so he
Yeah.
loves that he can have something that's a little bit more breathable that he doesn't sweat as much in. So that's a huge thing for BMX guys too.
Yeah, it's like a theme also on his Instagram where he pushes on his helmet and like a gallon of sweat drips out. So that's definitely helpful. That's something I hadn't thought a lot about either. And I mentioned those George jeans. They updated the way they make them or whatever to use a stretchier fabric. And
Yeah.
before I had, multiple pairs of them, I would go back and forth between the previous and the current. And when I would put on those pants that didn't stretch at all, I would get pissed taking them off.
Hmm.
So it's important, and it's cool that there's like real people making this product in jaywalkers that you know support BMX, because the more that we can support real people more than a corporation, like Walmart, it's
Yeah.
it's rad. Um, Ooh, I got a question here. Any thoughts on a line for kids?
That's actually that's a good question. And honestly, yeah, that's something that I've been kind of thinking about because I have talked to a lot of parents that have, because a lot of the parents seem to run the younger kids BMX Instagrams,
Yep.
the younger guys that are doing well, like Connor Stitt, for instance. I've chatted with his family and stuff, and even our extra small is a little bit big for him, so he was interested in trying them out, but they're still a little big.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that is something that we haven't really gotten into yet, but that's something we've definitely talked about and thought about. That's a really good question.
Yeah, I mean, the more you guys keep going, I'm sure you'll end up in that realm sooner than
Yeah.
later. So, like, what does it take to start a company like this and manufacture pants for anything you could possibly want to do in them?
What does it take?
Yeah, like what's that look like?
Yeah, it takes a lot of work and a lot of frustration. You try out all these different manufacturers and you expect one thing and you get another, or I've had multiple times where I've not multiple times to this extent, but I had one time where we decided we wanted to try a new manufacturer because they made a pant fabric that was just as stretchy as what we had, but it was thicker and more durable, which we liked.
Mm-hmm.
Not as breathable, which was the downside. But so we didn't want to get rid of our pants, but we wanted to add this to like our line,
Yeah.
So, but so our samples came out great, but then when we got the bulk, the sizes were messed up, the pockets weren't right. One of the colors wore way too fast compared to the other colors, and so we ended up just taking a full loss on that because like don't want to put our name on the line with selling like a crappy pant material. So I mean, there's been times where we've taken almost like $100,000 loss just because we don't want to sell bad products to our customers and stuff. So to answer your question, it can be a massive headache and a lot of work, but like in the end, it's 100% worth it, man. I would never go back to anything else, man. It's nice to have your own thing and to grow it and just connect with all these people. A few months back, Brian Fox and Bryce Trown and a couple other BMX guys were out in Colorado. Got to meet them, hang out with them, go out with them, and that was a blast. So.
Yeah. Yeah, like what kind of stuff? How did you end up here with a company that makes pants, you know?
So actually, before this, I was actually managing a local supplement company in
Mm,
Colorado, and I did really well with it, and I really enjoyed marketing it and everything. But there was just a lot of promises that were made to me that just never really came through, and I was growing the business, but I wasn't benefiting myself as the
yeah.
business grew. So I decided, I'd want to go out and do my own thing. And I had been talking with my friend Justin, my business partner, and he had been showing me like all these. He would always find these new pants at the store and be like, "Yo, check these out. Like these are even stretchier." And I'm like, "Well, you know what, dude? Like, I was like, fuck it. Let's just maximize this concept and just make our own thing." I'm like, I'm tired of doing this, man. Like, I'm like growing this business and I have nothing to show for it. Like, let's do this. Let's actually do it. And so we did it.
Wow,
And we
that's
spent
sick.
well over a year just testing different fabrics and manufacturers. A long process.
Just doing it right.
Yeah.
That's so rad. So what's the scope of what you guys offer?
Like as far as our like what do we offer as far as our products?
Yeah, and like the lineup goes. What do you
Yeah. Okay. So we started with 3 colors of pants, and now we're up to I think we have like 11 or 12 colors. A couple of them were like limited runs, so
mm,
little low stock on like the white, peach, um, and there was like a teal color we did and stuff. And we'd like to do more of those too. But anyways, we've expanded into men's shorts, women's shorts. We've got flannels, t-shirts, hoodies, belts. We recently came out with some joggers that are really nice too. So a lot of the BMX guys like the joggers also. Not
yeah.
as breathable, but just as stretchy and comfortable. Um, we've done some hats. Jerseys are one of the new ones that we've been have been doing really well for us. We've been making some cool jerseys. So yeah,
Nice. That's a lot. I
yeah.
mean, it's definitely a big thing. I just started having some shirts printed for myself, so I know that like when you do that and have stock, you're investing money. So like
Oh yeah.
having that much stuff is pretty awesome. Uh, I got another question here. This is an interesting one because you guys aren't focused on BMX. You're focused on everything. So this would be interesting to hear your thoughts on this. Someone asks, have you considered some thin sewn in pads or a long sleeve tee with padded elbows?
What was the first one? Like pants with
Some
pads?
yeah.
Honestly, I haven't really considered that. No, I haven't. But I mean, if I was hearing from, our customers and stuff that that was like something they wanted and that was like a high demand, then I would be totally open to doing something like that. And I mean, we work with so many BMX guys. I would basically ask for their opinion and have them test it out and
Yeah.
all that. So I never thought about that, but yeah, if it seems to be something that's in high demand, I'm definitely not opposed to it.
Yeah, I feel like that's the kind of thing if you guys got more into the mountain bike side of things, which I'm sure you will. And once
Uh-huh.
that happens, it's going to be a flood. But I think it's possible for that. But I feel like most BMX people need more than just a thin pad that could be sewn into some jeans.
Yeah. And I mean, these pad companies have probably like perfected, the way they make these pads, and I would be starting from nothing, trying to create a new pad that goes in a pants. So I feel like these, especially these big BMX guys, they probably have like a specific pad that they really want to wear, and I feel like it would be really hard to compete with that.
Yeah, it's definitely, but it's interesting to talk about nonetheless.
Yeah, no, it is.
What other types of like is BMX your biggest sport or activity? Is there?
So yeah, I would say I would say right now BMX probably is our biggest thing because I mean, yeah, we've even worked with like Jeremy Malott, Jacob Theum. There's just so many. We've just worked with so many BMX guys compared to any other industry. Like we have a few bodybuilders. We work with a couple skaters. Um, it seems to be getting pretty popular with like guys that do like parkour and like
Mm,
tumbling, that kind of thing as well.
and
Break dancing seems to be a pretty big one too.
yeah, it's interesting, and I think what's so cool about this conversation is that like you guys had one BMX rider reach out to start. It's not like you went and was like, "Oh, BMX is a thing that'd be good." Maybe you had that thought, but like
Yeah.
a BMX Rob Darden came to you, and then now it's like all kinds of people I see trying them out. And another thing that's cool about that is that like I think you guys are doing this in a really good way because there's been BMX focused like gene companies before, and
Yeah.
they just never seem to last because I think maybe they're limiting themselves, or I'm not sure why, but it's cool to see you guys are like we're going for everything.
Yeah, I have heard some people say that, and I've been wondering too if we should try to focus more on BMX just because it seems to do so well, or if we should keep kind of going the route we've been going. Because I mean, I guess now we've been kind of doing more of like a almost like a Red Bull type thing, like just different extreme type sports rather than mainstream sports.
Well,
What we
I
were talking about.
I think there's a reason Red Bull is way bigger than any one of their activities that they is because they offer something that goes for anybody doing anything. And I think you guys just happened to create a pair of pants that works perfectly for BMX from what you see out there from the guys using them. And it's like, well, if you make the best thing out there for it, then they're going to come.
Yeah.
I'm,
Right.
I'm excited to try and just see, compare them. I like to do science experiments whenever I test out a product. I call
Yeah, I just sent my partner your info today, so should be getting a couple pairs out sometime later this week.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And just for anybody watching, that has nothing to do with me doing this live stream. I totally just wanted to chat and like learn more about jaywalkers and like just I love getting the little details about just anything in general. Like last week, I did one with a guy who makes pads. I might have told you, I can't remember if I did or not, but he makes handlebar pads and frame pads for a bike, and he does it by hand himself. And like, I think it's just cool that I wanted to talk to you about making pants.
Yeah, that is crazy. I was trying to look through my messages to see the original conversation with Rob Darden, and it sounds like he reached out and said he bought a pair of jeans through Douglas. He recommended them to me. I must say they're the best pair of pants I've worn for riding and chilling. I'd love to get more involved and share your stuff, and that was the beginning.
That's awesome. That's one thing about BMX is that when something is good and something works well for BMX, people talk about it, people share it, and people start using it. Is it have you found that with other types of activities too?
I guess it's the same with most like communities, like bodybuilding and stuff too. People definitely talk and the word gets around and stuff. So,
It makes sense. I feel like wearing jeans while you're lifting weights. Maybe it's for because you're so big after you're
Oh no, we don't advertise them for lifting. Like
right,
you could definitely lift in them because like you can move in them, but like like the joggers we advertise for lifting, but the
right,
pants are more for just everyday activity. If you're on the go, you got to go to work and a meeting and a date and all this. You got the same pants for whatever you need, or
because
skating, whatever. You need to
you're
skate
so
somewhere on the
jacked
side.
as a bodybuilder. You need and that's the other aspect too. Even if you don't wear pads as a BMX rider, maybe skate. I don't know about skateboarding, but I would imagine it's the same. Like your legs are just naturally bigger than
Mhm.
normal people, so to have something focused around that is gonna help.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, so it's like, what are you guys thinking about? You don't have to talk specifics, but like, you have thoughts about expanding with things even further moving forward?
Uh, I mean, yeah, we're definitely on. I mean, honestly, the brand itself, we're super small. It probably looks a lot bigger from the outside, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just me and one other dude, and we both work full-time jobs on top of Jaywalkers because we've just been reinvesting everything to grow the brand. I do the marketing and work with like our athletes. He does the customer service, ships out orders, does inventory, and yeah, we're not really yeah where we want to be. So we're definitely trying to grow more and stuff, trying out some different things. But a lot of times, like I said, it can be super frustrating, and there's issues with quality control. We try to try out different manufacturers and end up getting kind of screwed and stuff. Like recently, we tried some new flannels, messed up our buttons, sent them back to have them remake them, sent them back, still messed up. So now I'm like trying to like haggle with them over
Yeah,
like the solution. They want to like, reproduce them again, and I'm like, we can't use your quality. You proved your quality is not good, so we can't sell your stuff.
right.
And
Yeah,
that's a
it's
big thing for us. Like we won't sell anything if we don't think it's like reaches our quality standards because it's just not right.
absolutely. And it's crazy when you told me that it was just you and one other guy, just purely based on looking at your social media and the types of pictures and what you're putting out there in the website itself. It looks like it would be way bigger, like you said. It really does.
Yeah, we're little guys. So we're definitely on the right path, I think, but we definitely have a long way to go, and our presence looks very large. Yeah,
Which is
compared to
probably a blessing and a curse at the same time.
yeah, right.
But it's okay. It's good though. So you had absolutely zero like knowledge of manufacturing pants. Did you have any kind of manufacturing knowledge at all?
No, so I was actually when I was managing that supplement store, I was actually going to school for exercise physiology, and my goal was to become a doctor of physical therapy.
Hmm.
And then I had this conversation with my buddy, and we talked it through, decided to do it. I dropped out of school and I decided to go the entrepreneur route.
Nice. Hey, it's working.
Yeah.
And
So
I,
far, so good.
right? I've always felt like the best way to learn about anything is to just dive in and have a goal and something you want to achieve and then figure out how you're going to get there.
I agree. I agree. I would say it definitely takes a certain type of person though too, but I would say I think me and you probably have the same thought as like, if you dive into it like that and you're in there deep, like you're going to put the energy and effort in to make things work because you're in deep.
Mhm.
You're not going to just let it die. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's why I feel like when you have conversations with people who are involved with these types of things, they're usually you're on the same wavelength and get along because most of the time there's people who have that same dedication to see it through and make sure it works.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest thing for me. It was just saying like, let's do it. Like just hopping in, just saying let's do it. Like and then we did it. Like that was the hardest. That was literally the hardest thing is just doing it. You just have to do it.
Yeah. Which I think that that could be a takeaway for people in general too. I mean, you, what does your business partner have any kind of background in clothing or manufacturing or anything like that?
Nope, neither of us. He's just he's a bodybuilder and personal trainer, and yeah, at the time I was going to school for exercise phys, and I was doing personal training and managing a supplement store. So I've always been a hustler.
Yeah, well, I think that that's something that people could take away is just even if this thing that you might want to get involved with, you don't know anything about it, if you approach it the right way, I mean, like you guys are both still have full time jobs, like you said. It's not like you quit your jobs and like could be forced out of like before you even got to this point because you didn't have any way to keep it going. Doing things the smart way and being dedicated to the survival and success of it, even if you don't know anything about it.
Mhm. Yep, 100%.
Yeah, it's good. Um, so, like, is there any types of things that you guys have planned, like with the BMX guys, or anything cool in mind? You don't have to like spoil anything or leak. You know what I mean? Just
Okay. Yeah. May or may not be working on a limited exclusive color with Ryan Nyquist, so that might be coming soon.
oh, Ryan
Signature color.
Nicholas. He is a legend, and it would be cool to see that.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you learned anything about him as a BMX rider and like his legacy?
So I don't know a ton about his past, but
Yeah.
me and him just get along really well because he's all about the comedy and stuff, and that's the kind of marketing that I do and I like, and the
Mm-hmm.
content I make. So I've just always like gotten along well with him. But like I said, I don't really come from the BMX industry at all, so I don't really know a lot about like his past or anything. But yeah.
Well, he, if you ever like have a long drive or something, he did a podcast with it's called Unclicked. I think it was that one. It's like a few hours long, but they talk a lot about the history and stuff. But you can kind of get an insight there. But Ryan Nyquist comes from like he's been in BMX for so long that he lived through the era of like massive numbers as far as money goes getting paid, and so like he is a super knowledgeable person in regards to representing companies. And I mean the dude rides for Bobcat. Like
Yeah.
he's a
I
BMX
saw that.
rider who rides for Bobcat. So like you already know he knows what he's doing in that regard. So I think having someone like him in your corner is definitely smart. And
Yeah.
it's go ahead.
Oh no, I was just agreeing with you. Yeah, I'm very thankful that we were connected with Ryan.
Yeah, and I think he's pretty good buddies with Rob, so it makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's exactly I think how we got connected was through Rob.
Yeah, yeah, it's really cool to see that, and I think that the more and more, you guys get involved with people, the right people in BMX. I mean, just like anything else, there's the right and the wrong people, and so far, it's going well. It seems.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm stoked about it. So, is there anything that people need to know about jaywalkers or anything like that?
I guess there's one thing that I wanted to share, and because I know we mentioned the price point earlier.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to mention something that we do for all the young riders and whether or not you ride BMX or not. But I do run a full ambassador program for my company and all my ambassadors. So for the people who, if you do struggle with money or, you're trying to save money or whatever, we
Mm-hmm.
do give half off to all of our ambassadors. So if anybody's ever interested in being a part of Jaywalkers, you can always sign up on the website. And if you're approved, we reach out. We don't care about how many followers you have. That's ridiculous. We care if you represent the brand well.
Yeah. Nice. So,
And that's what we hear from a lot of people. They're like, "Oh, I don't know, man. Like, I don't have a big following." And we don't care. We just want good people.
right. Yeah, that's awesome. What, what are like the is there requirements, or like what is the details on that program?
No, honestly, not necessarily. We look for people that are one, like at least, somewhat active on social media,
Yeah.
and two, we'll look at your page, make sure, you're, a respectable person. You're not like, you're not a bunch of comments like shit talking and
Yeah.
stuff like that. We just want to make sure you represent the brand well. So obviously, if, you're posting, we don't like the drama. We stay away from the drama. So, yeah.
That's smart. No matter what avenue you're in life.
But it'll always find you no matter what, so it's
Right.
unavoidable.
That is unfortunately true. There's a funny chat. How about a Brantmore discount code? That's funny.
We
If
could do that.
you, if that, yeah, that should have been. I had that thought like a couple days ago and then forgot about it, and I realized, oh yeah, that'd been a smart thing for me to do before we have this chat and be able to mention it. But I'm, I'm not in it for that. So if people are interested in that, where can they find like anything? Your pants, the ambassadors. What's the website?
Oh yeah, it's just all on our main website, jwalkersapparel.com, and then that's the letter J, not Jay, just JWALKERS apparel.com.
I'm gonna.
If you go on the website menu and you tap ambassador program info, that's where you sign up for the ambassador program.
I'm gonna throw that up on the screen. Just the website right now. Right now, free shipping on all orders over $99. Domestic
Yep.
shipping. I know there's international people who will see this. Yeah, it's super professional. Everything looks great. And
Or
there's,
sorry, it says become an ambassador. That's what it says.
yep, just clicked on that right there. That's rad. Must have a public Instagram account. Hear that, people?
Oh yeah, sorry, I did forget to mention that public Instagram account.
That's okay.
And the reason for that is because, we want people that want to grow with the brand and stuff. And if you have a private account, we can't share any of your stuff. So if you're, representing the brand, I can't help like put it out there.
Right, and other people can't see your posts.
Yeah,
So that's kind of pointless at that.
kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah, unless you're like one of those super famous people who's got like hundreds of thousands and you're still private somehow.
Yeah.
I don't even begin to pretend like I know how that works. But on that note, I feel like we've covered things pretty well. Is there anything else that I haven't asked or you would like to say about Jaywalkers?
Um, Not that I can really think of. Um, yeah, we're always just, working on creating newer and better things, coming out with new colors and stuff like that. We're always super open to feedback. So if you ever do have any feedback on anything, whether it's good or bad, feel free to email us on through the website or message us on Instagram. If you do have any also questions regarding the products at all, or you need like a size recommendation, since our pants, we don't go by 32, 30 or any of that. We go by small through 3XL.
Mm-hmm.
You can always just shoot us a message on Instagram. That would be the quickest way to get a hold of us, or you can send us an email as well. Height and weight is usually what we go by, so just send us a message with that information and we can make you a quick recommendation if you ever need it.
Perfect. And I will say, part of the reason that I reached out and wanted to do this in general is because I watched a video. I forget which video it was, but the dude, I'm pretty sure he's your business partner, dropped out of the sky or dropped out of the top of the frame. It was like, hey, and it was like, it was so engaging and comedic, like what you were saying, that I was just like, I was,
I know what you're talking about.
I was stoked on that video, and it was just, I felt like, man, these people are sweet. They're hooking up BMX riders, and seems like people like their stuff. So I want to find out more about it, and what better way to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually my buddy Pete
Oh,
who
okay.
did that video for me. Yeah.
Yeah. It's this video right here. Yeah, he jumped out of the sky and he's like, "Come here, come
Yeah,
here." Oh,
yeah,
wait,
yeah.
not there, too close.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I saw that, I was just like, "Oh my god, that is hilarious," and I just
Yeah.
appreciated it.
He's one of my good friends. He always helps me out when we do like booths and stuff like that. He does a lot of the parkour stuff, so that's why he just kind of like dropped out the
Yeah,
sky. Yeah.
nice. Yeah, so for anybody who's seeing this and interested, Jaywalkers is supporting a lot of BMX riders and doing a lot of cool stuff with clothing that seems to be able to hold up to BMX, which isn't easy to find. So I appreciate what you're doing, and I appreciate your time doing this, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you reaching out and having me on here, man. This is a cool little thing to do.
Absolutely. And if, like he said, anybody has any questions, reach out, and hopefully this can help out some. So thank you to everyone for tuning in, and go get some Jaywalkers.
Yes, sir.
All right, have a good night, everyone.